All right, I'm back. So I thought what I'd do today is share with you something a little bit different. So I haven't played guitar now for going on 3 weeks at all. So I've got my Telecaster out and I'm going to show you how I shake off the dust, because tomorrow I'm playing with Brian. Now, if you know anything about Brian, if you've seen him on the channel, he's arguably the best guitar player in Melbourne, and he's one of the most interesting players to watch. And if I'm not on my A game, or at least my A minus or B game, he hands me my ass every single time. So what we're going to do today is show you the process I use to get my chops kind of back to where I like them. I start simple and I progressively work it up till I've got some flow, some ideas that are coming in the moment, and I'm not just repeating stuff I play a million times, because a lot of the stuff I do in video is very different to how I play live, and a lot of people have always commented on that. But I thought I'd share with you my process about sort of getting my faculties back in order after a break. So I've been to Hawaii, which was amazing. It was like one of the best experiences ever. It always is. I've been there one other time, and this time was fantastic. I ended up getting sick when I got back, so I had a few days in bed. I then broke my tooth, so I got a new tooth. A temporary one for now. I'll get it fixed properly next year. And it kept getting pushed back, and now I've got 1 day. I've got 24 hours from now before I play live, and I just want to make sure that I can play. There's a few things that I think about, the first of which is playing clean, just making sure that my bends sound good and that I've got the sort of chops that will sound good even if I'm not playing at top speed, which I never really try to do anyway. A couple of times I like to escalate my chops to play fast, but my process is always about, or my thought process is always about trying to make something sound good even if it's simple. So that's where we're going to start. I've got my PV Bandit on the floor over here, my 52 reissue Telecaster, some finger ease spray, and we're going to make some noise. I'm just going to practice some bog standard kind of feels and incrementally sort of change what I'm playing to suit, you know, where I'm at and the flow and the process, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to start with some blues, some slow blues stuff, probably do some shuffles, we'll get into some funk territory, and then we'll start playing some other styles of music, because, you know, playing blues is one thing, but also, you know, playing other styles of music kind of enhances your creativity a little bit. So yeah, we're going to get into this. So I'm going to just mic up the room with a little one of these microphones here. So that will be for the guitars and music and all that kind of stuff. And I'm also going to be just using this whenever I need to as well. So we're going to make some noise. All right, let's do it. So this first one is a slow blues backing track in B, and it's from Art Man Studio. I'll link this down below and any of the other tracks, but I always start just by playing sort of like a complementary piece to whatever the feel is. Here we go. It's really important to play clean when you're rusty, because you can hear all the mistakes. I'm going to force myself not to play anything too fast either. First thing to go for me, anytime I haven't played for a while, is like the flow of good ideas. They just sort of take a while to come back, but I take more chances than I would normally too, which is a good thing because it kind of gets you thinking a little bit fresh, which is something that doesn't happen if you just don't take a break ever. You know, you can always sort of feel new things or hear new things in your head, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm actually feeling like I can kind of play a little bit better than where I'm sort of like feeling in my mind. So that's always a good thing. I'm just going to try a completely different key here. This is a funky blues one in G from Jam's Tracks channel. So let's give this one a shot. And I just go in blind. I just hope for the best here. I usually just sort of get the feel. Ah. So what I'm thinking about here, rather than just sort of like filling everything out, is just playing phrases, you know, a little bit up here, followed by something like, just a good way to sort of break it up. So yeah, I always think about not playing too fast straight away, and also just focusing on the phrasing. Ah. All right, so clearly it's some of that's okay and lots of it isn't, but I'm also going to practice with my fingers. I don't do this enough anymore, like actually practice without the pick. So I'm going to play some passes with the pick and play a few without it and see what we get. I'm feeling pretty good now. It's loosening up. I'm still not trying to push myself to play, again, too fast or just too busy. Hopefully that's still got some phrasing there. I'm just going to start moving on to some different stuff here. Groovy backing track in C sharp, which is actually one of my favorite keys. So let's try this one. And this is great because the last two have been dominant or seventh blues. This is minor, so it opens up a lot of different ideas. So I love minors. over to a fast shuffle here. So let's type in shuffle so we don't get any of those rock and roll ones from Quist. And I'm sure he's got some good stuff out there. Jumpin' Blues backing track, fast shuffle in C major. This is perfect. This will be perfect. I think I've done this one before. I'm gonna try and find a faster one again. Something a little bit more grooving. Let's try this. This is in G. Yeah, wow, I'm sort of like missing some basic chord stuff. So what I'm going to do now is just play some chords for a bit. It doesn't usually take that long to come back, you're playing, but it's just a confidence thing for me that comes back a little bit later than the chops. So I like to work on a few ideas. I think what I'm going to do next is maybe just work on some runs up and down the fretboard, get some sort of dexterity going with that. Starting to take some chances and they're not paying off, but what I got to remember is that that's fine. It comes back. This jam track's great. that wraps up my first attempt at playing guitar after about 3 weeks off. And it's funny because my calluses are basically almost gone. I've been in the seawater a few times and yeah, it's basically cleared them up, which is crazy. For me personally, after about 10 days, I start to get a little bit rusty. After a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, it takes me a while to get back, but no more than about an hour or two. So I'll put in another hour of practice a little bit later on and just focus on the stuff I was really struggling with. I'm also going to pick up a different guitar. Now you might be asking a few different questions. So the first thing is I stand up to practice because I'm going to be standing up and playing tomorrow. It's much different to sitting down and practicing and then trying to stand up and play in front of people. So, you know, it's better for your posture. It's also, I just prefer it. If I can stand up and play, I usually do. In the videos, it's a bit different because of how all the cameras are positioned and all that kind of stuff, and just the room angles look better when I play seated, but if I go out and play live, I'm standing up. Secondly, I don't run scales. I did that in the early days, and it's boring. I'd rather try to come up with something more musical. And again, tomorrow I'm going to be playing licks. I'm not going to be playing scales, so why would I practice scales? A lot of people like to practice to just a metronome. Again, I don't find that very musical. It might be great for your execution and timing, but these backing tracks have great timing. So you've got all the advantage of having fun playing the music as opposed to playing to just a click track or whatever. So for me, this is the best way forward. And this is very simple stuff. I played mostly 12-bar blues, and that's because that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. But it also, when I pick the guitar up a little bit later on, I'm going to pick up and play a whole bunch of different styles, some different chord feels, all that kind of thing to get, you know, the creativity flowing and just the connection between where the chord is in relation to what I want to play and where it's going and all that kind of stuff. So I think after the next hour of practice, I should be hopefully playing a little bit better than I have been. And this is great because it allows me to kind of focus on the things I'll be doing tomorrow. I have a goal in mind. I want to be able to play good rhythm guitar. I also want to be able to play decent lead guitar. And again, with playing with Brian, he's a monster. So he, even at my best, he still wipes the floor with me. But it's good fun either way. And if I can be kind of close to relaxed playing on stage, then I'd like to be. My consistency is the thing I kind of pride myself on. I'm never completely terrible when I go out and play live, which is good. I'm sort of right in the middle of my best and pretty good. So I like to sort of sit in that top third of my playing rather than anywhere below center. And if I hadn't have practiced, it would have taken me 40 minutes to loosen up and then the set's over. So I want to go in sort of like without feeling the need to play a lot of stuff, but I also want to make it feel good. And that's kind of what I think about anytime I'm playing live. And sometimes, you know, you hear that thing less is more. I know Yngwie Malmsteen disagrees with that, but if you can start off playing basic stuff and sort of work your way into the set and start to go crazy by the end of it, it's a good thing. If you, as you say, blow the wad right at the start of the set, where are you going to go, right? So that's kind of how I think about these kind of things, just from my own standpoint these days. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing simple stuff if it feels and sounds great. There's plenty of players that do that, including, you know, B.B. King and Eric Clapton, all these guys. But when they, you know, other players want to dig in and go crazy, it also sounds great. But, you know, people appreciate different things, and you've just got to be at ease playing live, and this kind of practice really helps me. So I'm going to do another hour or so to different backing tracks until I absolutely cook, and I'll play some different feels, maybe some country feels, you know, work on my finger picking stuff, and just basically noodle, but with intent to make it sound good if I can. And it's slowly getting better after 40 minutes or so of doing this, 47 minutes. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. I don't know how long this video will be, but I'll cut it down so it's not as boring. But yeah, let us know your practice technique if you're rusty. The longest I went was about 8 weeks without playing, and it took about 2 weeks to come back for me to get to where I was at before I stopped, because of 8 weeks for me is like taking a year off for other people. That's just me though. Anyway, thanks guys. Catch you soon. See ya.